In this video, we will be showing you how to replace your fuel pump sending unit on this Nissan Maxima. This will be accessed in the rear of your passenger compartment under your rear seat. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we need to mention is we are working with a fuel system, so make sure you're in a safe area to do so. Let's start under the hood at our negative battery terminal. To loosen this, we're using a 10mm. We're only loosening the mounting nut just enough that we can remove this terminal end from the battery. Once we have it disconnected, a quick inspection for corrosion, and we're going to set that aside so it's making no contact here. Moving from the battery, we're going to make our way back to where the fuel door is, and we're going to open up our fuel cap. Make sure you're in a safe area to do so, and it needs to be well ventilated. Now moving from the battery, we're in the rear of the passenger compartment. To gain access to the fuel pump, it's located just underneath the lower seat. To dislodge the lower seat, along each side, you're going to find that you have a small tab that you can grab onto, gently pull it straight forward, and that should dislodge it. Now that I have one side dislodged, I'm going to repeat the process on the other side so we can remove this lower portion of the seat. Lift this up and out of here. With the seat out of the way, that exposes our trap door. Once we go ahead and dislodge this, it's going to expose the upper portion of our fuel pump assembly. To dislodge this, you're going to find along each corner there's a small plastic tab. You can use a Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to turn these clockwise just enough that they turn into the position where we can gently lift this up and out of position. So you want to line up with those ports. This up. Now that exposes the upper area of our fuel sending unit. Before we start dislodging anything, let's go ahead and clean up the area. I'm going to use some compressed air. Let's disconnect our electrical connector first. Has a small locking tab. Go ahead and squeeze that in and pull this out of place. You can also use a small pick under this area if necessary. Inspect your wiring harness for corrosion, assuming there isn't anything. We're going to continue on to each one of our two fuel lines. Keep in mind there could still be fuel in the system here. Let's go ahead and squeeze on this. Pull it out of place. Just slide it straight on rearward, or forward I guess, really. Now that we have that line off of there, the next thing we want to do is remove our plastic clip. We are going to reinsert this into that line. I'm just using a small pocket screwdriver to get underneath my two locking ears. We should be able to slide that out of place. Just a quick inspection of that, make sure it's not cracked or broken in any way. As I mentioned, we're going to reinstall that into the line. This is fairly simple. You just want to align your locking tabs and press it in. Listen for an audible click from that. Double check, make sure it's secured. We'll pause on this line and we're moving along to the next one. For this line, it's a little bit different. There's two rectangular tabs where my fingers are. We want to try to squeeze those in together, and we should be able to pull this out of place. Give that a little twist if necessary to get it out of position. A quick inspection inside that line, this looks good. Now continuing from here, we're going to start dislodging the fuel pump assembly from the fuel tank. This is held in place with a metal locking ring. You can see it has several ears making its way around. We're going to start tapping this counterclockwise to dislodge it. When doing so, you want to make sure you're using a brass punch of some sort. Whatever it is you do, you need to be extremely sure that you make no sparks. That can be hazardous. We have fuel lines open here. Let's see if we can get this to turn. Okay, it's starting to turn for us now. Typically, when this does actually break free, it's going to come upward a little bit. I just don't want you to get nervous about that. It's what should happen. It's broken free. Let's go ahead and start removing that locking ring. Should be able to slide it off of there. Make sure you give your locking ring a thorough inspection. If it looks like it's rotted, weak, or damaged in any way, you want to go ahead and replace it. This is extremely important. This looks fine, we'll set it aside. Continuing on from here, since we're going to be lifting this up and out of the fuel tank and there could be fuel in it, we want to make sure we have a collection receptacle to catch all of that fluid. We don't want anything getting on our carpeting or on the interior of our vehicle. Start lifting this up. We'll give it a twist as necessary so we can get it out of the fuel tank. It's a tight fit here. There we are. As we start bringing it up, it does have a level sensor, so we're going to have to deal with that as well. Typically for that, you can just twist and bring it up and out of position. There it is, friend. Now with that out of position, the next thing we need to do is just go ahead and remove our gasket from this area. Continuing on, clean and inspect the fuel tank where the gasket and your brand new sending unit is going to sit. I'm just going to use a clean rag for this. We're not trying to use any chemicals that might get inside of that fuel tank. We don't want to have a contaminant in there. Double check for any miscellaneous debris that might have fallen into this place. Continue on with your brand new gasket. Let's get this right in place along that ring that we just finished cleaning. Now that we have that on there, the next thing we want to do is just one more quick inspection of each one of these two lines, confirming that the seals on the inside are still in good usable order. They typically are. Now let's go ahead and push those out of the way. We'll get our fuel sending unit in place. Now as we bring this in, we want to make sure we start with the level indicator. That's going to be facing towards the rear of the vehicle, so it's essentially going in this direction. We'll start getting this in here. Sliding this down in here. This can be a tight fit, just as it was during the removal process. We'll make sure we have the lines out of the way as we start bringing this down into position. Obviously, before you can reconnect your lines, we need to put on our locking ring. Make sure you have this in the proper orientation. That electrical connector should be facing straight rearward. Once you have that aligned, the rest of the lines should align as well. Just go ahead and press this out of the way. We'll press this down until it's completely into the fuel tank and we can install our locking ring. We've already cleaned and inspected this. We're sure that it does not have any damage. Now, as we get the locking ring in place, we need to pay attention to the ears that are part of the fuel tank, confirming that they're making their way over the locking ring. If even one of these is out of place, the locking ring is going to be off kilter, and you might find that you have a fuel vapor leak, which can be extremely dangerous. This looks fine. Let's continue driving it all the way into the fully locked position. We're going to have to continue a little bit further here. This right here is exactly what it should look like along each one of the locking ears. Take your time and confirm that it's properly locked in all the way around. Now we're sure this is completely situated as it should be. Let's continue on with our fuel lines. For each of these, just go ahead and take hold of it, line it up, slide it in, listen for a click from each. Audible click, a light tug confirming it's properly secured. This should not slide out of place, otherwise you're going to find you have a fuel leak. This can be extremely dangerous. Let's repeat this process. Audible click, a light tug, it should be able to move around, but definitely not slide out of position. Now it's time for the electrical connector. Let's line this up, press it in as well. We're listening for a click. Audible click there, a light tug. Install your protective shield. We're going to place that over all four corners here, and now when we try to tighten these, we want to actually turn it counterclockwise. I'm using my Phillips head. We'll make sure those locking clips are perpendicular to the slots on this plate. Go ahead and give that a wiggle, ensuring it's properly secured in place. Assuming it is, let's prepare to reinstall our rear seat. Now, as we start bringing the seat in, the first thing we're going to pay attention to is our seatbelt buckles. This is extremely important. We need to have our seatbelt buckles accessible at all times. We'll go ahead and slide them through the slots in the seat. Now, once you have them through that area, we can continue on sliding this rearward, and then we'll have to press the front end down, locking in the locking clips. Listen for a click, give it a light tug upward, it should be secured in place. It's locked in. Let's just double check to make sure we have access to all three of those seatbelt buckles. It's time to resecure our fuel cap. Let's get that in position. We'll turn it clockwise to lock it in. There we are. Close the hatch. Now we can make our way under the hood. To reconnect our negative battery terminal, we'll tighten it up using our 10mm wrench. Double check, make sure that's secure. Now the next thing we need to do is hop in the passenger compartment. We're going to put the key in the on position, turn it right back off, and then we can continue on to starting the vehicle. Typically, during the initial start, you're going to find a long crank scenario before it does start. Perfect. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.